okay, everyone? Oh, good. I'm live now. I'm live. Good. Let's just wait for some people to join us. I should be, everything should be working all right. The background noise, you can hear someone playing the piano and someone singing. Regular viewers will know that that is Liberace, whose name is actually Alan, and he lives in the flat above me, and he has a piano and he likes to sing. Wasn't a problem in my old room because I was at the back of the building. I'm now at the front of the building, and I'm right underneath where he has his piano. But anyway, not to worry. We're on Facebook, which is nice. I'll just check my other browser. And yes, I'm here. Oh, I can see myself on my other browser. That's good. Okay, just wait for some more people to join us, which hopefully they will. Anyway, you can watch the recording anyway. I'm going live on Facebook. This is the first of 2 live streams. This is the first one, UFO Disclosure World Disclosure Day 2020. Live stream number 1. And I'm here to talk about World Disclosure Day, which is today, July the 8th. I hope you can all hear me okay. I've got I'm using this microphone, which provides, I don't know if it cuts out the background noise. There's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. I have to put up with Liberace. He seems to want to sing or play the piano when I'm doing something online. Alright, so yeah, and appreciate you joining us, everyone. I appreciate everyone joining us today. July the 8th is World UFO Disclosure Day. Alright, World Disclosure Day, or ET Disclosure Day. I know, Steve Bassett, if you're watching, I know you don't like people saying UFOs because we're out of the UFO era, we're now into the ET era, ET Disclosure era. UFO, of course, stands for Unidentified Flying Object. ET, Extraterrestrial. But July the 8th is World Disclosure Day, whichever series of letters or acronyms you choose to put in front of it. And it was awarded that status by Steve Becklow and Jeffrey West of the Paradigm Research Group in 2010. So this is the 10th UFO Disclosure Day. 10th anniversary of UFO Disclosure Day. The 8th of July. That's an important point. I should point out this is, I should actually add that, shouldn't I? I'll add that to my articles. Yes, I will. Yeah. Edit. I should mention this. This is the 10th anniversary, isn't it? It's the yes, it is. I'll just say making this the 10th one. That sounds good, doesn't it? I'll just up. That's all you need. Making this the 10th one. That's all. That's all I need to put. I'll do it on the other one as well. I've got I've got an interesting situation where I cannot post anything from the Hapanwo sites. I cannot post on Facebook. It's not me they've banned doing it, it's everyone. Making this the 10th one. That sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, making this the 10th one. Yeah, everything's banned. Everything from Hapanwo is banned from Facebook. Which is A bit annoying, of course. I've got 6 people watching. That's great. Yeah. So what I've had to do is I've had to set up another website. I've set up a completely different website. The other ones were all blog spots. This one is WordPress, and it's just called Hapanwo Extra. And so everything I post on Hapanwo Voice, Hapanwo Radio, Hapanwo TV, Ben's Bookcase, HPWA, I have to double up on. I have to write it as a second article and put it on the Hapanwo Extra site. Otherwise, I can't share it on Facebook. It's damned annoying that I've been zucked in this way. Anyway, that's enough moaning from me. The reason July the 8th was chosen as World Disclosure Day is because on July the 8th, 1947, something very interesting happened. Firstly, there was a newspaper article called the Classic One from the Roswell Daily Record, which is, excuse me, RAAF captures flying disc. And of course, this went around the world. It went viral, as we would say nowadays. Didn't use that term in those days, but it did. It travelled around the world, and basically they were saying they captured a flying disc. It was basically the flying saucers. They'd been captured. But then, later the same day, General Roger Ramey of the 8th Army Air Force held a press conference in his office at Fort Worth, Texas, where he put on display some wooden sticks, some loose crumpled pieces of aluminium foil, and he told the world's media that this is what Major Jesse Marcel of the RAAF in Roswell had found. He'd mistaken it for a flying disc. There was the famous photographs of poor old Jesse Marcel squatting down, prostrating himself, being made to look a fool in front of the photographers, for the news photographers, holding these pieces of just random material. But Ramey was lying, and today, 73 years later, the government is still lying, and no one disputes that now. Even the skeptics who think Roswell was something else, it wasn't ET, that it was Project Mogul or something, they still lie about it. But according to many people, including Steve Bassett, this is the day when a decision was made. After the publication of the first news article, there was a decision made to institute the truth embargo, as Steve calls it, because, well, reporters were descending onto Fort Worth and in New Mexico to Roswell. Like they were arriving like locusts. They were pouring off every plane, and the government was considering whether to continue with the original flying disc story and so come clean that they exist, or to cover it up. And they opted for the latter. Now, personally, I suspect that this decision was made many years earlier. Possibly quite a long time earlier, when the governments. The reason is that when Roswell happened, it seems that the troops involved knew what they were doing, as if there was some kind of contingency plan. There's even evidence to suggest a certain kind of detachment was involved in this operation, which means if they knew what they were doing, it means there had to have been Roswell-like events before Roswell. In fact, I wrote an entire article called Pre-Roswell Roswells. But still, the day of that scene in General Ramey's office, and the subsequent publication of in the evening edition of the newspaper, which was General Ramey empties Roswell saucer. I mean, the Sun couldn't do a better job nowadays, could it? It's still fitting. It's still a symbolic, historic moment that institutes this cover-up, because you could say that the cover-up was already in place when this happened, but it almost failed. It almost failed. It's like 1989 with cold fusion. It almost failed, but they sort of like got it back in the bottle. Well, not quite, because we're still here talking about it. So, therefore, every July the 8th is now designated World Disclosure Day, and that is, of course, just 6 days after World UFO Day, because it was on the 2nd of July of that same year that Kenneth Arnold had his sighting. At Mount Rainier in Washington, where he saw a group of objects, sort like saucers skipping on a pond, he said. So the term flying saucer was coined. Now, the date of World Disclosure Day will remain this day every year until disclosure actually happens. On that day, it will automatically transfer to that date. Now, I would say today's Disclosure Day is different to others that's happened in the past, with the exception possibly of last year, because the atmosphere around the world towards UFOs has changed. the media is reporting it differently. And I've talked many times about that. There's a whole, if you go to the description box, the notes, the description, you will see there are links there to an entire portal of articles, videos, and of course my books. Yes, don't forget, I almost did myself. Roswell Rising, a novel of disclosure by Ben Emlyn Jones. Yeah, don't forget that, and of course the 2 sequels that go with it, the 2 follow-up books, because that's all in. It's all in the description, in the links in the description. But they're reporting it differently now. Excuse me. And I don't know if this means that disclosure with a capital D is about to happen. I mean, I've always had my doubts that such a thing is even possible. That is willing disclosure. That is somebody standing up and saying, "Yeah, it's all true. The conspiracy theorists were right all along." I've always had my doubts that that could happen. But there's also a part of me that keeps thinking, what if, what if, what if? Either way, regardless of where this is leading, they've changed their tactics. The government, since the end of 2017, the government have changed their tactics. In December 2017, with the 88 revelations, there was a massive burst of interest. Then 2018 was a very stagnant year. I remember thinking this could even go away, could somehow slip away. But then in 2019 the pace increased, and then 2020 we're here now. It's roaring and charging through its first half. But at the same time, of course, we've got to raise voices of caution. Is everything as it seems with ATIP and the TTSA, or is something else going on? Is there something a bit more sinister going on? What will happen in the second half of the year and beyond, I don't know. Can anyone predict? We can make educated guesses and perspectives, but we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure. But it's exciting. It's exciting time to be in ufology. There's never been a more thrilling and enthusiastic time to be in ufology, I think. There's this avalanche of developments, and what's happened so far cannot go away, I don't think. So maybe next year's Disclosure Day will be on a different date. Anyway, Sarah Bromley. Hello, Sarah. How are you? Thanks for joining me. I've only got 6 people watching, but never mind. I honestly don't know. I can't be sure exactly what will happen next year. But is there ever been a more auspicious time? Is auspicious the word? Thrilling, exciting, and also other things, to be involved in this world of ufology? I honestly don't think there is. I honestly don't think so. It's just it's too. I've never known. I mean, I've never known anything happening which has happened in the last few years. I mean, literally, the way UFOs have been portrayed through the modern UFO era from 1947, literally onwards, never changed. The Twining memo, where it talks about the need to institute official ridicule and denial, was the same, wasn't it? Hello, Simon. How are you? If you're in it's raining in Hereford as well, is it? It's raining here in Oxford too, mate. Yeah. I'm glad I'm indoors. I'm glad I'm not at work at the moment. But hi, Simon. How are you? Oh. But it literally was the same. Official ridicule and denial. I mean, it describes almost the entire media, UFO media, doesn't it? Or the way UFOs are portrayed in the mainstream media. You know how it is. It's never taken seriously. Well, with a few exceptions. Hello, Richard. Hello, Disclosure. A long time coming. How are you, Richard? I'll be seeing you soon. Yeah, a few weeks, mate, and I'll be seeing you. I know Richard. He exists in the real world, believe it or not. He's actually a real person. It's interesting you think that, because like the standard UFO news story, it's a novelty piece after the main stories are over, and everyone wants to have a laugh before the end of the news program, so they have some UFO music, and they're always playing in the background. You hear the X-Files theme tune, or you hear the 5 tones from Close Encounters. And then there's this report done in a very jocular way, and then they go back to the studio, and the newsreader's sitting there, and someone above the frame dangles a toy flying saucer on a string, and it dances around the head of the newsreader, and everyone goes ha 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 ha. Everyone laughs their bloody head off. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you, Richard. It'd be great. I'm coming on the end. It's I think it's 31st, Friday the 31st. I've got to finalise it with Maureen, but I'm going to book my coach soon. Yeah, I'm actually speaking in Truth Seekers Northeast in Newcastle upon Tyne. 1st of August. Details are on the Herpanwo Voice site. Or go to Truth Seekers Northeast on Facebook. It's all there. I should have shared my. Actually, I should have shared my World Disclosure Day thing with him, shouldn't I? And I didn't. I'll do that now. That's one thing I forgot to share with. But anyway, it's interesting, that you have like. I think it's very interesting. You have this, as I said, this ridicule, the official ridicule and denial. The official ridicule. Oh, shut up. Official ridicule and denial is a way of describing it. I mean, when you see these funny news stories that I've just described, it's not accidental. It didn't happen by accident. It definitely doesn't happen by. It doesn't happen by accident. It's real. It's deliberate. It's a deliberate strategy on the behalf of the people in the media. Although I'm sure that the people presenting news programs just act like that because it's fun. They're probably it's just that culture has been infused in the media, so they just do it without they do it without being told. They don't need some kind of guy in a suit telling them what to do from the MI5 or whatever. And then, of course, you have Mr. Pope, the Popester, Nick Pope, praise be upon him, who comes out and says, "Well, we can't rule it out," or what's the other one? I can neither confirm nor deny this. Yeah. But then in 2017, everything changed. Now, this doesn't mean, oh dear, the secret's breaking down. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's hard to say. You see, in the years leading up to 2017, maybe the decade leading up to 2017, the quality of UFO programs plummeted even further. Now, even during the period of official ridicule and denial, there were occasional gems, a couple of jewels in the dung heap. You'd get some documentaries that were serious, and they treated the matter respectfully. Hi Donna, how are you? Thanks for joining us, Donna. They would treat it seriously, and then from about 2007, I'd say literally for the first 10 years. Dislike Mr. Pope, yeah, I've got him blocked, Richard. Oh, he's a horrible man. And then the quality just plummeted. I mean, there were some absolute clangers when it came to documentaries. I mean, there's a limit on how bad a TV show can be by accident, and there were some awful ones. There were some bloody awful ones. I mean, I know because I've saw them, and some of my friends were in them, and I warned them not to go into them. They asked me to be in them. I said, get lost, not a chance. And when I saw them, I was very relieved. I was very glad. And then suddenly in 2017 it all changed. And you had the ATIP footage and things like that, which of course it came out in increments. It was TTSA revealed them somehow. Tom DeLonge got hold of them and he published them through the TTSA team, and then of course little by little it was revealed that this was real UFO footage. And essentially this is an admission from the Department of Defense that there are objects in the sky that they don't know what they are. This is not them saying, "Oh, we got a saucer in a hangar," to quote Pope. Roswell was real, but it is them admitting that there are strange objects in the sky they can't explain, and they interact with our people, with aircraft, at nuclear power stations, nuclear weapons, and our own military. I'm not bad, thanks, Donna. I'm all right. I'm It's nice to be able to do these events on World Disclosure Day, I must say. And so that's an important change in the way this is going on. Now, this doesn't mean that, well, this is a prelude to disclosure necessarily. It might be, but we've got to be cautious here. As Richard says here, there's a little joke going around. I did share this actually with the man himself. But when will the disclosure? When will it be? And it says it's always 3 months after you talk to Steve Bassett. Yeah, Richard, I think you were there. Were you there at the I forgot what it was called in Liverpool, where I saw Steve for the first time. This was 2007. I saw him for the first time, and he was saying that Obama's the disclosure president. That's it. We sorted once, and everything after that, we're going to get disclosure for this within 3 months. And yeah, I know what you mean, mate. But when I hear him talk and when I hear him speak, and especially, he's always he's got conviction that he's on the right track. And you know what? It's possible that he is. See, I can't dismiss it. It's easy to dismiss it out of hand and just say, oh, he's barking up the wrong tree. He's wasting his time. He's chasing a mirage. But I can't, because every so often something happens that makes me think, maybe it's true. Maybe he can do it. And he's got this guy Mark Walker on his side now. Mark Walker is a is a congressman in the House of Representatives, which for Americans means they're like they're the MPs, they're elected representatives. And he's like being really, he sits on a very, he's like chairman of a security council. And Steve said these are the most important people in this business. And funny thing about Mark Walker is really he's kind of where Steve's been going with his lobbying effort, because he sent copies of he had the citizens hearing, which Richard and you and I both remember that, and then he had then he sent copies of the DVD to all the people in the government. There were 100 senators. How many is it in the House of Representatives? I can't remember. In the Congress. And they all got copies of them. And the hope is, of course, that they will therefore watch them and be inspired. And it looks like this guy Mark Walker is. I said something on Mark Walker, didn't I, the other day? Was it on? I think it was on, actually, on oh, it was on Panwo TV, my latest Panwo TV video. Yeah, it was. So every so often I think Steve Bassett can actually pull it off. He can actually do it. I really do think it's possible what he's saying. Now I know that there's a lot of people, some very noisy people, who are actually continuously saying it's all a disinfo, it's all a psyop. Everything from ATIP is a psyop. The TTSA are all shills. They're all agents, Ben. Why can't you see it? I can see it. You can't. I can see through the disinformation. You can't. This is why I'm so much more intelligent than everyone else. Oh, we know the kind of people we're talking about. Yeah, there's a lot of them. But they are possibly taking too much of maybe a cynical angle. Maybe they're being excessively cynical. They don't know that. Maybe they're just saying it because it makes them feel cool, because they feel superior to other people. But for those people, for anyone like that, I'll say, look, if you think you're in this for your ego, then please step aside, because the rest of us are trying to save the world. So I don't want to go to that extreme. I don't think it's correct to go to that extreme, because if you go to that extreme, nothing at all can happen. So I always ask these people, by what criteria would you define? Would you say, well, this is actually real and it's not just staged by the government? What point would you say that? And they can never answer me, because in their world, everything that happens is exactly what the government wants to happen. so the New World Order can never be seen to end. Disclosure can never happen in these people's eyes. No matter what happens, it's just a deeper layer of the conspiracy. So that, I think, is also a mistake to take that line. So we have this change. We have this difference. We have this difference of portrayal, and it has to have. It has some kind of purpose. It has to. I mean, what you're seeing, what you see with the ATIP footage and things like that. I was watching the TV series Unidentified the other day, which is very interesting. Funny, if I hadn't watched it, I should have watched it earlier. I mean, it's been around for about a year, and I haven't watched it. The new series is starting sometime soon, actually. There's a second season. But you see, this sort of thing, what you see there, has been reported by people for decades. In fact, it goes back. I don't know if there is a beginning to it. I mean, in history, in historical terms, people have been reporting, especially responsible people, people in positions of responsibility, people who have to be very level-headed and have good mental capabilities to do their job. Pilots, soldiers, people running nuclear missile silos. And now we have essentially confirmation of that. So this it's not disclosure with a capital D, but it is certainly something a bit like that. Declassification with a big D, put it that way. But what will happen between now and then, between now and the next World Disclosure Day, I don't know. If anyone's got any ideas, and feel free to post some questions if you have any. If anyone wants to say anything, I'll give you a couple of minutes for that. But then, if not, I'll call it a night. But don't go away, because there's another live stream later, and that's on YouTube, just by the way, just to let you know. So just let me know if you have any questions. I hope he's shut up by the time the next live stream happens, I'll tell you. Okay then, guys. Well, what I'll do is, if you don't have any questions now, there's 15 people watching now, which is great. But if you don't have any questions now, that's fine. 7 PM, YouTube, Ben the JR Porter, my channel. There's going to be another live stream on this same subject. It's going to be the second World Disclosure Day live stream, and I'll answer any questions you have. You can always come onto YouTube and just post. The chat box is open to everyone, and you can post your questions there, and I'll be very glad to hear what you have to say. Very interested to hear what you have to say. In the meantime, everyone, thank you very much for watching this is the first World Disclosure Day live stream of 2020. I tell you, this could become an annual thing, couldn't it? So thank you, all of you, for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.